Try something new this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty, so we are live, at least according to
Hey.
StreamYard, we are. Hi everybody. We are here talking about Never Cross a Highlander by Lisa
Hey.
Rayne. She's thick. She's thick.
Yeah, it took me 3
It was
years.
surprisingly very long. I didn't expect that.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I was just like, so when it came in the mail, I was like, wow, this is a bigger book than I was anticipating. And
That's
yeah,
one
it's
of my complaints. Is I feel like the chapters were too long.
over 400 pages.
Yeah, it's very thick for a mass market paperback romance.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too.
I would really like this to be
428
like
pages.
a floppy paperback,
Like a
taller.
trade paperback, like
Yeah,
flop.
yeah.
Mhm.
Floppy.
Yeah, so we
Happy
actually
Wednesday, Shannon.
Oh,
Sorry.
hi,
I was just talking about you earlier.
Shannon. all good things, all good things.
Yeah, literally, I was just talking about you like an hour ago.
I was just like, we only got into the chat like 5 minutes ago. When did we start talking?
Who
Sorry,
were you
go ahead,
talking
Nicole.
about Shannon with? No, I'm just kidding.
A friend that lives in Canada.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we have been anticipating this book. I had this on the docket for Who Picked This Book Club to read and discuss last year because it was supposed to come out May of last year. But you know,
Even
things
before that.
happen. Was it
It
before
was
that?
supposed to come out at the end of 2021.
Yeah.
By
They pushed it
TBR.
back twice.
My goodness. So yeah, it's been a long time coming for this bad boy here. We did have a cover change because I think the cover was something different. It was another model. I don't mind the cover change. It's still very similar.
Mhm.
I love shirtless men on my romances.
With a kilt, you can't go
Yes.
wrong.
You can't.
Exactly.
With a sword, bulging biceps. I mean, I'm not
Hell yeah.
complaining at all. But so yeah, obviously things happen, COVID, maybe something happened with production or whatever. Because I think Alicia, weren't you saying like you had the audio pre-ordered and
I had the
never got an
audio pre-ordered, and like a month before it, so like in November, it gave me back my credit.
Yeah, same thing happened with me.
And I was like,
had
darn it!
Like, dang, I would have liked this to be an audio. You know, I like the Scottish, if they do it well, the Scottish accents and the. It's quite the delay. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hello,
Hey,
cool gamer. How are you? Can y'all believe it's February?
No, let's not go there.
Can y'all believe my baby is due this month?
In like
3
2 weeks.
3 weeks to the day.
I know. It's like, I hope it's not that close to her date. I don't want her giving birth on the live.
I was so worried that we were going to get that. Like, I'm in labor. You guys got to take it over.
Jen, take over.
Just tell me the code. I'm trying to log in.
That was my biggest concern. It's like he's in the middle of like pushing, and then we can't get the damn code to log in.
Oh my god.
Well, if it makes everyone feel better, after tonight's live, I'm supposed to log in to the thing. So if something happens early, next week we're gonna, or not next week, but 2 weeks from now, we're gonna be okay.
2 weeks from now. 2 weeks
And I was
from
gonna
now,
say,
I
Nicole,
might
if you're
be
still with
in
us,
labor.
but that sounds really dark.
If you're still with us, God rest your soul. I might have a baby. I might go into labor. Anything could happen. You know, I'm 37 weeks today, so it's literally can happen at any time. What's happening here? Shannon said, my library hold didn't come in early enough to read along with everyone. Oh, that sucks. Bummer. But happy to be here all the same. Thank you so much. And yes, baby month.
I know. I feel like you just told me you were pregnant like 5 minutes ago.
I feel like I just found out I was pregnant like yesterday. So this really just kind of flew by just because we had like, obviously, as soon as we found out we were pregnant, we're like, home remodel, let's do it.
I remember you talking about it on a live once about being ready, and then I'm like, oh, it happened for her.
Yes, finally.
And we're gonna spoil the baby.
Oh yeah, he's already spoiled. He has a room full of stuff. This room is still full of stuff for him. My dining room is full of stuff for him. So I'm just like, I don't have any room for all this stuff for you. I need a whole nother, my baby needs 2 rooms.
He has his library ready.
Yeah, I know. He got so many books. He got so many books.
A lot of it was my fault. Sorry.
Don't apologize. I love it. My husband's gonna build a bookshelf for him too. So it's not gonna be quite to this scale, but
And take a look at those shelves because come Saturday, I'm coming over for purge number 2.
yeah, we're doing
You're purging books?
Yeah,
I'm in the middle
I
of doing that
had to
right now too.
purge. I had to purge a lot of books to get all the bookshelves that were in the guest room / now the baby's room out of there. So it's like I got rid of over 1,000 books.
Oh wow.
But let me ask you this. Do you regret getting rid of any of them, or do you actually feel really good about having them out of your life with the credit that you now have to buy new books at the store?
I have so much credit.
Oh, so you were able to take them to a store that gives you credit.
Yeah,
Yep.
or it's like a Bookman's. It's like a thrift bookstore that does, or it's an entertainment exchange. It has, they do like not just books. They have a whole bunch of different stuff. But yeah, you take all your stuff in, and they give you. You can either get cash, which is like lame because you get like 2 cents for things.
Yeah.
Would you like
But-
$5 in store credit, or $5 in cash, or $100 in store credit? I
Yes,
would like
exactly.
$100, please. Thank you.
You don't even have to ask at that point.
I know. It's like I want to know like what their algorithm is. How do you get these prices? Like I would like to work there just so I can know
And
the trade
especially for like
algorithm.
signed copies and stuff that you bring in. My used bookstore offered me like $5 for a Katie Roberts signed copy. I'm like, no. I'm gonna no.
Yeah,
I don't
went.
have a used
no.
bookstore.
Oh, you don't?
So I
Oh,
just like have a bunch of books that I've been giving away, like unhauling, that I'm trying to see now if I can take them to a school because a lot of them are like
yeah.
YA and middle grade.
I do
So I
that
have to
too.
call up the
Definitely.
school up the street and see if they want some of it.
that would be.
I've
That's a
been
good
mailing
idea.
them to people.
A friend in my
Yeah.
hometown is the librarian for the grade school, so if they're
Oh,
like
cool.
age appropriate, I send them to her.
Nice, and I'm sure they would. I'm sure the school would like just love donations like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, I went into a trade. Jen, you weren't with me at the time, but I went in for another trade, and the man that was looking at my books, I came over and to get because they had called my name on the overhead system, and another girl was working there. It wasn't the same guy who took my original thing, and so she was helping me cash out. And the guy who came over, or the guy who took my stuff and was looking through my books, he came over and they were chit-chatting about the books that he got from me, and she's like, yeah, this one's so good, like this is a good one to snag. And he was like, oh, I've never heard of him before, but I figured. I was like, you've never heard of these books? Like, I don't think I want you looking through my books. You don't even know what's valuable, sir. Like he's like, oh, it was a YA or something. He was just like, I've never heard of it, but it was a YA, so I figured it was popular. I was like, you don't even know what you're looking at. I don't want you looking at my stuff. I was like, man,
Get
can you
outta
go
here.
through my box again to make sure you don't need anything else?
Right.
Yeah, I did. I did get a lot of credit. I did.
Well, that's more books for the baby.
That's true. I've been getting
Because
I've been
picture
getting
books
a lot
are
of
expensive.
Yeah, they are.
They are
know.
ridiculously. Don't even get me started having 4 younger siblings under the age of 8.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
all
kids
my-
by 4.
All
And-
my nieces and nephews, they get a book, a pair of clothes, and a toy every birthday, and I'm just like, God, these kids' books are expensive.
And the clothes are expensive too.
They are.
For such a tiny person, it's just like, okay.
And they grow out of them so quickly, and you're like, what's the
Yeah.
point?
I was like, this onesie is super cute. Why is it $40? Like, it's literally like this much of material. I don't understand.
That's what I don't understand about people spending so much money like at ridiculously overpriced stores for their babies. I'm like, they grow out of them in a month.
Yeah,
And they
absolutely.
throw up on them. Like,
All the time.
and like, come on. Like,
All the time.
I got mad when my friend had her baby registry thing at like Chanel, and I was like, no way.
Chanel?
$700 for a freaking onesie. I was like, no. I'm
That's
like,
just
no.
No.
That's just dumb.
That's like stupid. And if you're like 4 kids, so what are you doing? Like,
At least wait
No.
till they're like 2 or 3.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, you're not gonna grow out of them in a week and a half.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right.
So
Well,
this book, all
I
right.
know. I was like, well, enough baby
Can you
talk.
tell
I
we
know
all
we
haven't
like
talked in a while?
we like the baby updates and stuff. So, but yeah, so this book, Never Cross a Highlander. So yeah, it did. We were talking about how, yeah, it is very long. It did feel very long while reading it. So, I would say, quote unquote, things like the plot moved along like like another kind of romance. But I feel like why is it so much longer? Like I feel like it hit like a bunch of plot points that other Highlander romances that I've read, or even other historical romances that I've read. And but I was just like, but why is this one 430 pages and other ones that I've read are like 300? So I was just like,
maybe if they could have cut out some of those extra sexual assaults, it would have reduced some time. Because I was like, why is there 3?
And
I can handle the one. I can handle like at least one. I'm not like, I'll read it. That's fine. But it was like happened multiple times, and I'm like, but why though? By different people.
This girl was kidnapped, beat up, almost raped, kidnapped
Multiple
again,
times.
almost raped again, like 6 or 7 times. I was like, this girl can't catch a break.
Kidnapped again.
I know. I was like, my God. It's like, why are we trying to go to this
dark place?
This clan that, you know, probably doesn't want you, sweetheart.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's like the first thing I thought of when we get introduced to these characters.
Yeah.
She is like this handmaiden to a princess who's a spoiled freaking brat.
Oh, I wanted
she put King Joffrey to shame. I was just like, someone just behead her.
I punch this little 12-year-old. My God.
Well,
I hated her so much.
She was born a free Highlander. She was born a Scots woman, and they just took her. They just took her. Like, she got separated from her clan one day when she was at court. Separated, and they just took her. They're like, yeah, absolutely.
Nobody came to look for her.
Nobody.
No one. And then she wanted to go back to them. I'm like, they didn't look for you in the 3 years, sweetheart. Why?
Exactly.
There's got to be a reason. Like come on. Clue into it.
I'm looking for my clan. I want to go back to my clan. Why?
Well, when she was trying to escape, I was like, this dumb bitch is about to get everybody caught.
She's about to get everybody in trouble. Everybody's gonna get caught. Oh my God.
Like, I was perfectly fine with the actions he took to get her over there. And I understand why everybody was mad at her.
I understand too. I was like, we got to go. We are on a timeline.
But she's like a different freaking level. She's just bullheaded. Like, I'm stubborn, but like if it means me or something myself dying, like I'm gonna save myself. Sorry.
Yeah.
She was just too much.
As soon as it was said, like she got separated from her clan, it has been 3 years. I was like, why did no one look for her? Like, why is no one asking about her? Like, we all came to this one place together. We should all leave this one place together. And no one noticed that she was missing. I was like, something is not adding up. And why are you trying to get back to these people if, for one, they don't even care that you went missing? They didn't even notice. They didn't notice you were gone. That's like the least worst case scenario. They didn't notice you were gone. Second worst case scenario is that they did notice you were gone. They didn't care. Third is they had something to do with it, and it turns out they had something to do with it.
Well,
so I was like,
her family background, like they didn't like her mother. So, like, why would they go back to save her if they were going to save her?
I was like, what is so special? I mean, I understand it's your family. This is your clan. But I'm just like, and even when
guy over here is willing to take you, like, let him take you.
I could see why the other enslaved people did not like her, because she definitely thought she was special.
Yes.
This man is willing to take you home and give you a new clan, a new home. I'm going with him. I'm going with the nice buff guy that looks like he could protect me. Who actually cares and wants me out of the situation and is risking his life to get me out of it. I'm just like, yes, I'm going with him. She had her priorities all wrong.
And did it strike you guys like, I said this to Jen. I said this strikes me as like more historical fiction than.
Yeah. But I liked that. I liked that aspect of it, and honestly, I loved the author's note afterward. I don't know if y'all read it, but the author's note afterward, and I was just like, This is so fascinating. And I want to read the book that she suggested too.
Yeah.
I want to read that book that she suggested. What was it called?
Lies
My
Teacher Told Me.
Yeah. So I was like, I want to read that too. I was like, that's really interesting.
It made me go into like a deep dive of like the actual people.
For sure.
I was curious. And that's what like most historical fictions do. That's why I thought it was like more historical fiction-y than.
Yeah, well, this one she said there wasn't like any like actual like Black figures in Scotland that she knew of who had this type of story. So that part was kind of made up, but like she was inspired by like different books she read.
Yeah. Yeah, that's suspicious. Yes.
No, she was just trying to be the contrarian to be the contrarian at times, and that got on my nerves.
It was like martyrdom, sort of.
He was cloaked at first. She recognized his voice right away, though. That shiver-inducing voice.
Okay, but she deserved that spanking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just like, 100%. Spank her again. Spank her again. But yeah. So that was, and obviously, you know, it kind of like, this kind of reminded me of, it was like, oh my gosh, Galen. I don't know if he brought Indigo by Beverly Jenkins.
Yeah, that's what I thought of too. I thought, okay.
That's who he reminded me of. Okay, like Beverly is obviously Miss Bev is all the way up here.
Top tier.
But, she's top tier. And I was just like, oh, it's kind of like, the Underground Railroad, but in Scotland. I just thought that was really cool. And I was like,
I like that concept.
Yeah, it made me so interested to see, like, I'm like, maybe that like really happened, because they were there, they were enslaved. Like maybe that happened. I'm like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Shannon said, sorry, I missed your comment up here, Shannon. I do find that to be a challenge with historicals, not always, but a fair amount. Do you mean like length?
I think it was regarding the length. But she also did mention in the author's note, and I think I looked it up, that this is going to be part of a series. So I think that a lot of the like extra detail, the length of the book was probably like setting up future novels. So this one just felt longer for that reason. I don't know. I mean,
I always struggle with book ones. I always struggle with book ones for that reason.
What were you going to say, Vina?
Like maybe with the brother, following the brother/cousin character in the next one.
Yeah,
he was so funny.
I got some background about them, and then like the sister.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't know that it was supposed to be a series, which well, it says on the front of the book, The Shadow, but I didn't realize that. I didn't realize in my pregnancy addled brain that this is book number 1 as I was reading it. But yeah,
this is also her first time doing a historical too, so I think that she might have also been trying to overcompensate a little bit. Yeah, just to kind of like put history into it that maybe not necessarily needed, since if you've read historicals before, but might be nice for someone that hasn't and is venturing into it. So yeah.
Well, that's what I said in my review is it's a good starter. I didn't mean to cut you off, Vina.
No, that's fine. One thing I will say though is that I find with like historicals by authors of color, people expect more actual history in them, and that's something like a few of them have talked about. Like people will fact check and be like, "Oh, well, did that actually happen?" And so they have to be a little bit more accurate than like a white author would be in historical.
Yeah, I can see that happening too, and I'm just like, just mention they're in a kilt and I'm fine. I don't really I'm not like that big of a
I don't need it to be historically accurate to enjoy myself.
She had to make it sound like more like it could be factual.
Right, exactly. It had to be like this could actually be like happening, because I think in her author's note, even she was just like, she loves reading, historical romance and also Highlander romance, but she's never seen one that with a Black Highlander. And I was just, so she's like, I want to write that. But yeah, it's like, that totally makes sense, where it's like, well, people can be like, well, there was no Black Highlanders or whatever. And I was like, well, it's quite possible, because, Black people have been, everywhere since the beginning of time. So
I just read a nonfiction about Black people during like King Henry VIII's time period.
Yes. That's, you said you read something?
Yeah, it's called The Black Tudor.
I have heard of that one.
It's a nonfiction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up.
It's all about like when people, I mean, they don't really talk about the enslavement, but like when people in the next generation after the enslaved people, like trying to function in that time period when it wasn't okay.
Yeah.
I think the next book will be The Cousin and the Girl Who Was One. Oh, during the
Which one? Because there were two of them.
Yeah, he's like, I want both, and
both.
I'm like, yeah, sure.
All right, you go for it, sir.
Hi, Liz.
But most of the characters I genuinely didn't like. Like they were all understandably hateable. Like what was he, the guard, the one that thought he was hurt? I was like,
yeah,
can someone just like stab him and get it over with, please?
Absolutely. Where he was just like, he was going to teach her a lesson, you know, and she's like, oh, I have to stay busy so I'm not on his radar. I was like, oh, dang, like, get out of here, I don't like you. And those three McNeil guys who like one like beat her up, beat her up, like was choking her and her clothes were all ripped up, and I was just like, and she was like, first of all, I hate when they're like, no, don't, they're gonna hate me even more, like let it go. I'd be like, no,
someone made a hand
you should have let him take care of that guy.
Exactly, because what happened
would have been
later,
taken care of, like completely.
Exactly. I was like, draw and quarter him, do whatever you got to do, because what happened later, he goes to that enemy clan, because they're enemies, of course they are, her clan and his clan, they're enemies. I'm like, yeah, of course they are, because that's, you know, another, we shouldn't be together because of this reason. But yeah, he goes to that enemy clan, is like, hey, I know like this girl that you're looking for, and totally betrays him. And yeah, it's just like, if you don't cut the head off the snake, it'll come around and bite you in the butt.
And the
I
other
didn't understand that part though, like where she was trying to hide that she was from that other clan at first.
Yeah.
She was like, you don't need to know that.
Him, like, I need to go to the Highlands, but wouldn't tell him what clan she was from.
Yeah, she's like, you can just drop me off here. You can just drop me off here, and it's literally like a hop, skip, and a jump in that general direction.
I was like, you guys are together 24/7. He's gonna find out at some point.
Right.
It's impressive that he knew the clan colors, like immediately. He was just like, I know who that is. We can't be friends now.
Well, they were, I mean, I think it would make sense that he does know, because they are rival clans. Like if it was just some like maybe a clan that they didn't have any interaction with, or, you know, like it wasn't an enemy or even an ally. It was just like, hey, that's a clan. Like, I mean, I don't know like every state like flag, you know, so I'm just like,
I'd be screwed if we had to.
So
I can't even describe my state flag.
I was like,
I think ours is the one with a star, right?
It's a star, and like the stripes look like a sunrise. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Don't they know clan based on their tartans? Yeah, but like everyone, like even like specific colors, like because sometimes
I feel like there's a ton of clans.
Yeah, because I feel like some clans can have the same color but different patterns on their tartan. Yeah. It's like it gets very it's very intricate, you know. So I'm just like, I mean, if they do, I just make sense, because yes, they're enemies. You would know the colors in the tartan of your enemy. I feel like, you know, like, you know.
Yeah.
And apparently this clan wasn't very nice. Like they were, obviously, because they, you know, what they did to our girl, but like just what they're known for in the Highlands. Like they're trying to like take over other clans, and like they're like backstabbers and stuff. And I'm just like, if this is the reputation of your clan, why are you trying to get back to them?
Right. And she knew that before everything happened. Like, I don't understand the need to get, and your mom is, not to be mean, but your mom's already dead. So it's not like you're going back to your mother.
Right. Like you literally
didn't know her dad. Like, it didn't make any sense.
Yeah. I didn't get it. You might if you had to go to war with the other clans based on their tartans. Got it. Maybe he knows, because he's like the head war guy. He's like the head military guy. Yeah, so he probably knows. He does. He probably, because he's so smart.
Probably studies them and be like, I know all of you.
Well, he knew the brooch.
Yeah, he did. You see, you can tell by the size of his bicep how smart he is. It's fine. You could tell. My province has a very similar one to lots of other provinces. I would have to see one up close. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, just maybe because like that was just basically his job. Like he has to know like what like who like maybe potential enemies, or like, you know, Liz was saying, like you might go to war. You have to know who you're fighting, kind of thing.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, I didn't write
There weren't enough like sex scenes for how much buildup there was.
It was a very slow burn.
Yeah, and I like slow burn, but it was a little too slow burn.
A little bit too slow burn, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, there was only really like 2.
Yeah.
2.
Because I mean, I've read like Harlequin historicals, and they're, for the ones I've read at least, they're very slow burn, but they're a lot shorter. So you're not like it's not the same type of slow burn.
It doesn't feel as slow.
Right.
Like, they get together at the end, but it didn't feel like you know, you got a lot of, you know.
Yeah, like their midway point of the book is like 100 and something page versus like whenever they got together in this one.
I felt like halfway through the book. At least.
It was literally 250 pages in. I was like, jeez.
I had to have Alexa read to me. For me, it was really hard to get in because the writing bothered me. In like the just not necessarily like the dialogue, but during the paragraphs of explanations, they were talking about, she would just kind of use that old timey language, and for some reason that bothered me.
I did note that in my review. It took me a while, while to get used to that old timey language.
Yeah,
like the way it was used here.
There were some words and some stuff I was like, because I was constantly looking things up. I was like, what does that mean? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
And then I just finally had to be like, you know what? I can't really take the time to do this. I mean, I started this. When did I start this? Monday, I think. I started it days before I normally do.
Who are you, alien? Get out of here!
Like, there were a couple of words she used, like and stuff like body parts and stuff. I'm like, just use the regular English words.
Yeah, I know.
I will take the historical inaccuracies because I don't have the time to look that up and see if it's real or not. Or
when she kept she kept saying cods for balls, and I'm just like, can you not say cods, please?
Mayhaps bothered me with how much word mayhaps was being used. I know what that means, but it was used every other page. I'm like, we get it.
There was some kind of insert for boobs too. I can't remember what it was.
Oh yeah,
it was some word I couldn't pronounce
a few times. And I was just like, okay, I understand what you're trying to do, unless if it's in the dialogue, just straight English for me would have helped. So I actually had to switch to Alexa because it was making me slow down so much, because I would trip up every time. Like, I'd finally get into a groove and then she'd use a word and I was like, dang it, here we go, I stumbled again. I'm glad it's not just me, because I thought it was a me problem, and I'm like, I'm not gonna. So when I rated it 4 stars, really feeling like it's more 3.5 for me. I have not been nice to any of the books that I've read so far this year. I don't think any of them have hit over a 4 at this point.
Well, you did like the comics that I suggested.
I did. Well, I read those last year, so I haven't. True. I still need to read the 4th one in the Earth Divers.
When you read the 4th one, because
it took me a while to get into the beginning of this story. Like, I kept picking it up, putting it down, and once I got towards the middle, I was a little more. I'm like, okay, I'm invested now. I got to see what happens with this romance.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't until he basically kidnapped her because she wasn't being smart, and we got to go because we're gonna get captured. And she's like, no, I can't. Reasons.
Yes, we can. Come on, let's move. People are waiting on us.
Exactly.
Yeah, those people were ready to beat her up.
Yeah, understandably, you kept me waiting for a couple hours because you were being a pain in the ass. You pushed everything back a day or two because things.
Reasons. Bree's here. Hi, Bree.
Hey, Bree.
And Shannon's like, this is why I read novellas. I'm like, yeah, I was just like, sometimes I just really like those short, quick, to the point romances.
I just read a Madison. Nicole, you're gonna be like shocked about this. I just read a Madison Faye book and I rated it 4 stars because there was plot at the end. Because there was plot at the end. 34 into the book, we finally get to it, and she's like, "Let me just throw this in there." And I was like, "Okay, there's no lead up to this. There's no reason for it to be here. I don't read this for the plot. Come on.
You don't read Madison Faye for the plot. Come on, girl.
Isn't Madison Faye 15 inches? Isn't that Madison Faye?
Yes. You don't read Madison Faye for the plot.
Yeah.
No,
oh, what did you guys think of the sex scenes in this book?
They honestly,
I like the one in the waterfall.
I like the waterfall one. I like that first one. That first one was good.
I wouldn't mind that one.
Yeah, it was really nice. I felt like because it was a slow burn. Whenever things are slow burn, I feel like, okay, the sex has to have like payoff for me. Like it has to be like top tier, smutty times, and I felt like it was. I did really enjoy it. And but yeah, like I would have liked a little more, especially for an over 400-page book. I would like
there needed to be a little bit more.
Expecting, maybe 4 or 5 sex scenes,
Yeah. Like the first 2 were good. I'll give them that. They were solid. It paid off for like that weight. But then like the last one, nah.
Yeah.
The epilogue one that was like pointless.
That blah one where he was just like, I want you, like he's like, I want to feel like your mouth on me. I was like, can we not ask like
Can
that?
we not?
Like, can we not?
I actually thought that was kind of funny how he's like, I have to find a way to like ask her about this without
I got
asking
tired
her
of reading the line "spill his seed" too.
Yes.
Yeah.
That bothers me in historical anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
But that bothers me in the contemporary ones too. When I see it, so every time I see that in a book, I'm just like, this is nasty.
Or what's the other one that a lot of historical use, like his sheath and shit? I'm just like, can we just call it what it is, please? Like,
what bothers? Yeah.
Why do we have to call it like a sword and shit? Like, stop with the use.
And then I'm the sheath. I don't like it.
Thank you. No.
The one that bothers me in it, I always realize it in a Madison Faye book, is when she talks about the cum, and it's like rope after rope hit me. Like I felt it, and I was like, can we just not use rope after rope? Like, and it's all the time.
Gallons. Just
no, pick a different
word. We're gonna get demonetized. Oh my god.
Anything.
Oh my god! I mean, we're 30 minutes in. Are they still watching?
I know. That's why I had to say quiet, because I'm like, I don't want them to hear.
Your mom is watching right now.
Can't tell who decided that was the one.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
it was like that one we read where they called it graffiti.
You know
what?
Remember that book we read last year with the mermaid?
Oh, I see. I gave up on that one.
Oh my god! I thought that, like, honestly, I blocked that out.
Well, no, there's one line, and I think Dina put it in her blurb or whatever on Goodreads. She broke. What was it? The dildo? Like,
yes.
Yeah, you can't break a dildo. Like, what?
Why? How?
Nicole's like, no, she didn't. That never happened.
No, you did not.
Like, this is how I broke it. No, that never happened.
You're still like a virgin and her dildo. Please make it make sense.
I'm glad everyone else feels that way too.
Nobody turned into like a porn star after having sex one time. She was still kind of learning, unlike that other book.
Yeah.
That in general in romances pisses me off. Like, no, you have sex once, and that's not like a tutorial goes in your brain after you have sex the first time.
Yep.
Like, that's not how it works.
Hey, Erin.
Hi.
It was good. I enjoyed it. It's solid.
I want it to be an audiobook. I really wanted it to be an audiobook. Because
Alexa
doesn't do the Scottish accent.
Like, better if it was an audio.
That's what she was saying up here. I couldn't find an audiobook. My schedule is such I can't finish a book in our time frame without one. Yeah, there was supposed to be one. There was,
I don't know what's
able to
going
purchase
on.
one at one point, but I don't know. Maybe it was, maybe it'll eventually happen. I don't know. One can hope.
We'll probably get one like months later. I know like some of the smaller publishers, it does like their audio doesn't come out till months after release.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this was Entangled, which is technically like an indie publisher.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Then is the Amara on the back like a sub?
Yeah, that's one of their imprints. The Amara, it's Entangled Publishing, but Amara is, I think, their historical imprint. They have multiple romance imprints, so they're just like a small indie romance publisher. But so all of their stuff is usually digital first, so that this even got a mass market paperback copy was like a plus, because they don't do them for all their books. I know, because like one of my author friends published with them.
Oh, okay. Cool. I didn't know that.
Like, they probably will do an audiobook, but it probably won't be like maybe until like later down the line.
Maybe they want to see how sales for the digital and the paper copy go.
It is on Kindle Unlimited though, so I don't know how payment goes with Kindle Unlimited.
They pay by page. Yeah, they pay by number of pages read. So yeah, so if you start a book and you don't finish it, it's kind of like
Kindle Unlimited can help you get an audience though, because that's how the Brown sisters ended up getting like an audience. Like I remember Get a Life Chloe Brown was Get a Life Chloe Brown was on Kindle Unlimited for a while. When I first read it, nobody was really talking about it. Then they put it on Kindle Unlimited, and everybody started reading it.
Everybody started reading it.
I loved Chloe Brown. I haven't continued, but I loved her.
I also had trouble because Libby came through with 3 other audiobooks I had been waiting. They always come through at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Always
Well,
come
we'll
through.
feel better.
Feel better.
Yeah, I almost had to get Kindle Unlimited because my library copy wasn't coming through, and I needed it like ASAP because I think last time Alicia was just like, hey, this book is really long. You might want to get started early. And I was like, I'm going to need to. And then I breezed past it because I did
that's why I said
Alexa
something, because I know you physically reading like me, it takes you a little bit longer.
A little bit longer, for sure. Shannon said, I tend to like Entangled works, and the Amara line has a fair amount of PR. They have a good website, great way to window shop. Nice. And a lot of titles are on Scribd. Nice.
Oh, very nice.
Okay. Out of PA, so for my home state.
I mean, I definitely read something else by this author. I'd be curious to see what her contemporary is like, just because I feel like with just regular language, it wouldn't bother me as much. And I very much enjoyed this story. I think there were just little things that irked me. And I think it's
out of it a little bit.
2023, friends, because again, I have not rated a single book over 5 stars at this point, and I've like found something to hate about pretty much every book I've read.
Read Earth Divers #4.
I'm afraid
have been coming through this year, though. I will say that so far, comic books are not letting me down.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Well, except for that one. I did write one star, but it was about military and stuff, so that didn't count.
You're like, yeah. No.
You might really like the Earth Divers one, because I
pretty good.
Through them. They're so good. They're by Stephen
They're so short.
Oh, yeah. You did tell me about that. Yeah.
Nicole, they're like 35 pages a piece. They're like, and they're all on Hoopla. You can finish them like in an hour.
Yeah.
And the concept is so cool. Like, what if Indigenous people can go back in time and like
change shit?
Get rid of Christopher Columbus. What would really happen?
Only good things, I think.
Not sure yet.
I'm feeling. I had that happen with ebooks, and it can be stressful for sure. I hope reading those audios you got can provide some good comfort. Oh yeah, hug. Internet hug.
You feel better?
Be super excited because the next book is way up there. You know what? Hang tight. I'm gonna fill the screen here in a moment.
Okay.
Okay. It's our next book, and this one is so good. It's gonna make you feel super happy and joyful. There's nothing wrong with this book.
Can I just say how much I like the typeface in this is actually readable, which is lovely. Because a lot of the time with mass market paperbacks, I have to get the Kindle because I need to blow up.
You need like the large print.
Yeah.
Honestly, this font is very small.
Yeah.
For a 430 page book, this font is small.
But I find mass market paperback font tends to be very tiny, except for those like Harlequin has one line that they actually do large print for, and that's a readable size.
Heartwarming is all large print. The green.
The same. Yeah.
The pink one too, I think, is all large print.
Romance. The one that they don't sell in America. That you can get on the website. I'm officially an old lady. I purchase all large print.
Let me just tell you, when I started physically reading some of my historicals in here, whatever, those books. I had been using my Kindle and didn't realize I had blown up the font so much because of my old lady eyes. And now when I went to like a regular book, I was like, what is this? This is so terrible. And I'm like, I just want to get the Kindle so I can read it at like a normal font because it is super nice. Like I almost want to get large font on a lot of things because it's just
that's so why my mom uses the library. She only reads physically and she can't do small print. So she has to wait till the library orders the large print because those large print books for some of these books be like $30-something. They're expensive.
They're expensive, yes. Yeah, because you have obviously larger print. You have to pay for more paper.
And I mean, that's why the Harlequins are the only ones that I actually physically purchase in large print.
It's one of the reasons why I like
$6. So it's like more affordable than like this in large print would probably easily be. This is $15.99. This would probably be easily like $25 in large print. And the print in this one isn't even that bad.
I will say some of my special editions that I get from the book boxes, they have like good font size. Like,
yeah, that's nice. Yeah,
that is my biggest complaint with like classics too. Like the fancy classic editions. I'm like, I can't even see this.
Some of these new fantasies too. I'm like. They're thick and the print is so long. Like when I looked at Bloodmark, I was like,
and there's like no margins. Like it's all just text.
No
I'm just like,
and some of the papers are super thin. You can't read it because you bleeds through from the other side. I was like, come on, man.
I call it Bible paper.
When it's a fantasy that's over 800 pages, font is so tiny, and they have the Bible thin pages. I'm like, I'm not reading this. This is going to take me 2 centuries to read.
My TBR can't handle that.
I'm reading along like sci fantasy right now. It's like about 400 pages and the font is tiny and there's no audiobook. Like I'm going to have to start reading stuff in between because I can't do this read one book at a time nonsense.
I wanted to ask you, Vina, that book that you just finished, I think it was a reread. Was it Patricia Jackson? Something?
Nightmare? Oh yeah, Forging a Nightmare. That was a reread. That's on Hoopla.
How's the type in that one? Because I really want to read it, but I can't do small with my eyeballs.
Oh, let me grab it because I actually do have it on my bookshelf near me.
I still have to read that too. You put that on my 12 last year. I gotta read that.
I've had it on my wish list for like a year and a half. And I just want to read it.
It is kind of small.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not horrible, but it's a little small.
Are they good? Is it good size paper though, at least?
Yeah, it is good paper. Like it's not too thin. And it's like I said, the audiobook is on Hoopla. I would start physically first, or at least start with the ebook first to get into the world, and then it's easier to switch to the audio.
Okay.
I could see that.
Because that's what Ray did. At first, she was trying to do it straight audiobook, and she's like, I have no clue what's going on. How did you read this book? She's like, did you read it physically? And I'm like, yes, I read it physically. Like, when they didn't have the audiobook when I was reading it, so I read the whole thing physically, and she's like, okay, that makes sense. And then she started reading it physically, and then when she got, like, comfortable with the world, then she switched.
Got it.
Yeah. I can't do just straight audio with fantasies, though. I need to look at like how the names are spelled and how it's pronounced. Like,
I don't like to do straight audio with fantasy unless it's a reread.
Yeah, unless I've read it 500 times.
Yeah, I'm doing a fantasy right now, Kushiel's Dart by Jacqueline Carey.
How is it? Someone just sent me a copy of it.
The only reason why I'm reading it is because Katie Roberts says she loved it. And it's so long. It's the audiobook is 31 hours.
Oh no.
I'm listening to it. I don't know what's going on. I'm just
only in mass market paper. The mass market paperback my friend sent me is legitimately like this big. It's
a mass market paperback of a 31-hour book.
Yeah.
That thing must be like this thick.
I'm afraid to open it. I'm afraid like the binding is gonna fall off.
I know, I can't open it too far.
It's gonna immediately crack the spine.
Yeah,
and it just has some it has some weird like. It just has some weird. The main character, her name is Phaedra, and they have like almost like not necessarily houses, but like sects like that, where it's like things are like split up into different groups, almost like Divergent, things like that. And she was like she would have belonged to this one house or whatever that like takes like pleasure in pain. That's literally like what and I was like, and they're talking about that because of how she reacts to certain things, like when she gets punished and stuff. I'm like, she's 10. She's not, like, when this was happening, she wasn't even 10 years old. I'm like, why are we talking about
or like a fantasy romance?
I think it's a straight fantasy, but
and it's very political intrigue. That's why my friend sent it to me, because he knows I like political intrigue.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about the political intrigue part, but I was just like, why are we talking about this when she's literally like, she's not even 10 years old?
But their currency is like BDSM and sex.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not like looked down upon. It's not like you're.
No, but still, I was just like, oh, like, and like it's obviously it's through her perspective. So she's like, she's feeling these things, like she's getting punished and she's feeling like a certain way. I was just like, oh my God, you're so young. Like, oh my God. Like, like why?
I have a real hard time when they start really young, because I have younger siblings and I can't. Yeah. That's just the line for me. I can't.
Yeah, it's I was just like, okay, like I trust you, Katie, but I'm just like, I'm really considering DNFing it.
I was gonna say, if you're 30% through and you're not in love with it, just DNF
and it's
it.
And the series is 9 books long.
9
and that
books?
Is the first
what percentage? Okay, I will let you downgrade it to 20%. You get to 20%, you still feel this way, call it a day.
Yeah, that's what I'm starting to do. I'm giving this book a little bit longer, and
yeah.
I'm like, I can't. I want to, actually, I'm curious. I want to know how far along I am, because I'm not entirely, I'm 7% through. I feel like I've been reading this for days.
I DNF'd one book in the first 50 pages.
I DNF'd the book in the first chapter.
Oh my gosh.
Like, and I tried reading it physically. I tried reading the audiobook. I'm like, I want my $17 back, because this ain't it.
I want my $17 back.
I feel you on that. Yeah. And that's the thing anymore these days. I'm just like, if you're feeling that in chapter 1, like, it's not going to get better. Like, if you have that gut instinct, you're just like, no. If you're thinking maybe it could get better, I say give it 20 to 30%. Maybe it's just like a slow start. Yeah. But if you can't get past that first chapter, there's too many books on our to read list, guys. Okay.
Well, that's my thing. Is like, I was 2 chapters into this one book, and I know a lot of people that love fantasy love it, and I can see why, because he writes fantastically. But like, they use a terminology that I just like for with disabilities, and they call
oh my God. Because ever since you said that, I'm listening to
the
word
blood and
all I hear is that now. I'm like,
but it's not it. It's the blade itself, Diana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's literally the longest Kindle book I have. I don't know if I will ever read it, but it's on so many of my lists. Kushiel's Dart. Will it ever happen? Are you enjoying it at least? No.
Oh, that's telling.
You don't really like the worst part
of it. When you're reading a fantasy that is that, even if it's not that as lengthy as it looks, like if you feel like you're reading for days and you're only
at least like 7%. I'm not even at the 7%. It
doesn't help that it's a mass market paperback too. Like, I have a real hard time reading fantasy in mass market paperbacks. I have no problem with mass market. I'm not one of those people that hates mass market, but fantasies and paperback, fantasies and mass market
paperback, it has to be a shorter fantasy. I'll do an urban fantasy in mass market paperback. I won't do an epic fantasy.
Or like a romance, or like a Harlequin. I can do that because that's 250 pages.
I had a Game of Thrones mass market paperback that's utterly destroyed, and I'm just like,
I cracked the spine on that so bad.
Yeah.
The first one, Game of it,
I was kind of getting that it was a no.
She at least gave you 10%. She's even lowering it for you. 10%. Man. If you hate it, just stop it.
It's like I had to stop it to read this one, and I don't feel like I'm ever going to pick it back up.
That's okay.
I'm still trying to work on just reading books 300 pages or less. Honestly, I don't know why I decided.
But it's so hard if you like fantasy to find a book that's 300 pages or less.
I need shorter fantasies. And people are like, oh, you can't do fantasy in less than 400 pages. I'm like, yes, you can. Cut out all that unnecessary fat in the between. That's just filler.
Right. Cut out all like the misogyny and the raping of women and like cut all that out. It'd be 300 pages. You're welcome.
Like, look at Legends and Lattes. I think that's maybe 300 pages.
I wasn't sure how I'd feel about that one, because sometimes cozy sounds nice, and then it'd be a real like big mess. So I'm just like,
been in a cozy
when
mood
they asked me
lately.
if I wanted to read it, I said no.
Yeah. I've just been in like a cozy mood lately because I just don't want to think too hard when I'm reading sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't want to
but I didn't know how I would feel about like a fantasy that's just cozy vibes. I was like, yeah.
They have a little rat friend that bakes cinnamon rolls, and his name is Thimble. Like, and he wears his little like chef hat, and I'm just like, it's so cute.
Honestly, I feel like with a title like Legends and Lattes, I feel like it, like lattes, like really, like that doesn't scream fantasy. I mean, Legends, yes. No. Lattes does not scream fantasy for me.
The tagline is fantasy, but very low stakes, and that's the tagline on the front.
Very low stakes.
Love it.
I love. But yeah, absolutely. Like, yes, it sounds very.
I highly recommend it if you just want something fun to listen to, because the author is a audiobook narrator. That's his day job. Oh. So he does the audio as well, and the audio is fantastic.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I just don't think I'm like I had to stop Kushiel start to read this, and I don't think I'm ever gonna get back to it.
Give it up.
Just get something else in Robert.
I know. I was like, Katie, I trust you, but dang, man, dang.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about cozy fantasy. I don't need a whole lot of stakes, but I need like a little bit more.
Yeah. For sure.
Hey, I need your guys' help with something. Okay, I'm gonna ask you first, Nicole. Top or bottom? Just say top or bottom.
Bottom for sure.
Bottom. All right, number.
It's you're a bottom for sure.
1 through 8.
7.
7. Okay. Alicia, left or
yes.
right?
Left.
Okay.
Are you unwrapping your book?
Yeah, I needed to pick a new book for my next, because I'm actually on time with it. So I need to read one physical book every 2 weeks in order for me to stay on track to finish these 24 books. So I was just like, I need help doing this because I can't pick which ones it is.
Maybe it's not the right time for that book. You'll read it when the time is right. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't want to read this one.
Oh no, not one. But you don't want to.
In my defense, the reason I don't want to read it is because,
in my defense,
because when I read, like, I opened the book, so it's a special edition. I'll show it to you here in a second. But it immediately started with like trigger warnings, and it had like a list of about 12 things, and I was just like,
what's the book?
I really wish they would have told me that beforehand. And then the other problem is that I have 2 bookish box, and they both gave me the same book. So I now have 2 copies of this book. So it's this one. So A Dowry of Blood.
I've heard a lot of people talking about that one though.
I prefer
2 copies. To read it.
It's beautiful. I prefer the self-published edition.
Oh.
Is it?
I have the paperback self-published because it was self-published.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was self-published.
Yeah. I think this might be self-published.
There's a lot of good fantasy coming out self-pub first.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
It was picked up by it was published through Amazon first, and then a year later picked up, I believe, by Tor.
Yeah, Tor's been doing that, picking up more
same with Legends and Lattes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is their warning page. Here, let me read it to you. This book winds through some dark places, and I want readers to be able to opt in or opt out at their leisure. Great. Maybe you should have told that box that you should like maybe list some of these for your warning. So I've provided the following content guidance. A Dowry of Blood contains depictions of emotional, verbal, and physical intimate partner abuse, gaslighting, war, famine, and plague, blood and gore, consensual sexual content, sadomasochism, self-harm, body horror, violence and murder, alcohol use, depression and mania. Hold on.
Is this more fantasy, right?
I read it, and there wasn't any trigger, and on the self-pub one, there was nothing. Yeah.
It also contains brief references to sexual assault not directed at any named character, drug use, and drowning. Excuse you. Please, someone tell me about this before I pick up this book.
It's about the wife of Dracula.
I didn't know. They didn't tell me the title.
I know, but that's honestly they don't tell you that on purpose because he's not technically named in the book. He's just called their husband.
Choose your own
But it is about Dracula's wives, and he gets another wife, and then the first wife and this girl like fall in love with each other.
Well, the book box for this one is Fairy Loot.
Is this actual vampires or like people who just drink blood? Because that's one of the problems I had with House of Hunger. Was like it was advertised like a vampire book, and that was not a vampire book.
There was nothing in it.
Like people who just drink blood.
This one, which is edition is the bookish box. So honestly, if I like it, I'm keeping this one, and
get rid of that
someone
one,
can
I
have
think
this
that
one.
cover is ugly. Like I'll send you a picture of the self-pub one that I have, and I prefer the self-pub cover.
Oh, yeah. I agree, Vina. I agree with you. The black cover. I like the black cover.
Yeah, this one is stunning. I pulled this out, and I'm like, I actually want to read you. And the fun part of it is, so this is what I like about Bookish Box, is that they have 2 covers. I decided to do this one because I thought it was prettier, but this is the alternate cover.
Oh, I like that too.
Oh, yeah.
I really like that.
It looked a little bit creepy and it unnerved me, so I was just like, and I like the spine on this one. Like, the spine is just really pretty. It looks very old-timey.
It's nice that it gave you options.
Yeah, but look at this.
When they give you cool covers like
the hardcover is beautiful.
Oh, that's cute.
I would just leave that naked and just have it on my bookshelf.
Right.
Like
so it's just like,
I wish more companies would just do the naked hardcover with the design on the hardcover.
Oh, those are the end pages.
I do like seeing a good naked hardcover.
Yeah, that's one thing I think the Bookish Box does really well with, is they have each of their naked covers is stunning. So
that's what I really like. That's what I like.
But yeah, I opened this. I was very disappointed when I got this one, and I was like, I don't want to read this. And then I picked this one up, and I'm like, you know what? I might actually like you. So
I actually do.
Audible had a deal where it was $1.99 to buy the audiobook, and I'm like, that might be the only way I'm getting through this. So you know what? Some of the books that I have wrapped up there are ones that I also have audiobooks for, and it does still count because I have goals to get through physical audiobooks, ebooks, and
there you go.
Physical books. So
if you want to buddy read it,
my Kindle is really bad. I'm just collecting everybody's free and cheap romance.
I do the same thing.
That's what I do. Like, get those emails every day for free books. I'm like, sure, download. And it's terrible. Now I'm just like full of stuff, and I'm like, oh my God. But okay, so next live show. I may or may not be here. The Romance Book Club by Lisa K. Adams.
I think it's Lissa.
Lissa K. Adams. If you want to take a screenshot.
It's such a feel-good book, guys. Quick synopsis, just so that you know what it's about, so that everyone reads it. It's about a guy whose wife has been faking orgasms, and he joins a book club of dudes who read romance novels to understand women. Everybody pick up a copy. And I'll tell you how I feel about this book by that time, and then we'll play this round robin again of figuring out what next book I'm gonna read.
And if that is not your man's reaction, learning that you fake orgasms, throw the whole man away. Throw him away.
I don't know if you can see this, but this is the original cover. I don't know.
I can't screenshot it and send it to me.
Okay.
I can't see. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you to my lovely, lovely co-host, Vina. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. It's always lovely to see you. Thank you, everybody who's watching right now in the comments and who's watching later. And I may or may not see you next time.
We're on baby watch.
We're on baby watch.
May not, like she's never coming back.
I know. You may or may not. It's very ominous.
You got to come back. Don't leave me, Nicole. I'll never make it without you. Alicia's helping me, so we'll survive for a while.
Am I just a replacement for Nicole?
I think
a lot lower replacement.
So here's what's happening. I think I'm replacing Nicole, and you're replacing me. So it's a lot of pressure.
Okay, it's a lot more then. Okay.
Jen's like, you can't stay gone forever. I didn't agree to this.
I even texted you the other day. I'm like, okay, so like, how long should I plan out ish? Oh, on that note, everyone keep a lookout on our social media pages because I did pick our next books. I will update our Google Docs eventually once Nicole teaches me how to do the StreamYard, which you have done. But I figured since I'm coming over there this weekend to do your book purge, maybe I can just like sit there and type things and you could be like, yeah, you're doing it right. Or be like, get out of here. What the hell are you doing?
And like, I know how to do it. You showed me 3 times.
I took notes, okay? I should have
I have to get a StreamYard account. Starting my own channel and everything. So I have to get all that ready.
Yeah, you gotta get it.
Shannon wants me to live stream from the delivery room.
Girl, my own mother ain't even gonna be in the delivery room.
My cousin basically did that to her sister. She was all up in there taking photos and videos for like everybody.
No.
Like scuba gear.
I felt like I saw the whole birth.
You were there.
Oh.
It was like 4D movie.
No, she put it all on
thing,
Facebook.
and no one's seeing that. People can see the baby when it comes out, but that's it. You're not doing.
All right, everybody. Have a wonderful night. This was fun. See you next time.
Bye.